I have my red. It's supposed to be kind of like a red violet, and then I also have well, this is red violet, and this is a, sorry girl, get your colors together. This is red violet, and then this is a red orange. That's what that's supposed to be. I'm giving y'all wrong colors, and y'all know you guys are looking like, what in the world, girl? That is not the color. If you enjoy Draw and Paint What You Regret on YouTube and would like to show your support, you can find Cash App and Venmo information below. By all means, this channel is free to watch and learn from. Enjoy! Hey everyone, I am back with another demo for my Abstract Drawing 2 class. So actually this project that we're starting, which is project 2, we actually started last week, so I'm a little behind on the video. I am behind on a few videos, you guys, but when it comes to this class, I'm staying a bit more on top of what I need to do, even with me being a little behind. So with enough of me talking about that, let's get into the project. So when it comes to project 2 is pretty much students have a choice on if they want to do abstract landscape or non-objective landscape. So for my project, because I am doing my own project, I'm going to do a landscape that is abstract. So once again, students have the option of non-objective or abstract. Another thing, you guys, when it comes to the assigned element, so space, texture, volume, and also mass is the assigned element. And really, I told a lot of my students, because there's a lot that we are juggling in our basket when it comes to like eggs in our basket. I told my students that I'm sure even if they choose 1 or 2, or even if they do all 4, they're going to probably land those elements. When it comes to assigned principles like emphasis, contrast, unity, once again, there is a lot that we're using, but students are only, they can choose what they want to do. If they want to focus on 1 or focus on all 3, they have the option to do that. Another thing is color schemes. So the new 3 color schemes that I went over in class was tetrad, tridactic, and also split complementary. So when it comes to split complementary, it's just that it's complementary colors, but instead of, let's say you have, I don't know, let's say you have yellow and purple. So split complementary means that you're going to have yellow, and then you're also going to have red purple, and you're going to have blue purple. So that's the split complementary. So yellow, red, purple, and then also blue purple. When it comes to tetrad is in my opinion, you're using a lot of tertiary colors in its complement, and it's kind of double. So you have 2 of the complements together. Like if you can see with this composition that's here, this is actually a tetrad. So I have so let's look at the complements that are here. I have kind of like a red orange, and I also, although I didn't have the color pencil for this, you're supposed to have a green blue, and then also you have a red purple, as well as you'll have a yellow green. So they're kind of just like complements are leaning on the complement side when it comes to tetrad, but you have 4 colors in your color harmony, and there are tertiary colors that are typically more so on the opposite ends in that color wheel. Then we have tridactic. So if you think about the primary colors, our primary colors are tridactic. So that means that if we're thinking about yellow, blue, and also red, that is a tridactic color scheme. So I went over a few of these things in also reminded some of my abstract drawing 2 students on some of these concepts. So when it comes to our landscape, you guys, we are going to do a abstract landscape, which pretty much is just that. When you think about an abstract landscape, this is the actual definition from the University of Googler. So if you just Google it, Google will give you a AI definition on what abstract landscape is. But just to sum it up rather quickly, all it really is that we're taking ideas as far as whatever landscape you are doing, whether it's a cityscape, a landscape, it could be a beachscape, whatever you decide you want to do as far as your landscape, you're taking those ideas, and you may even have a reference. Like my students, they're able to look at a reference, whether it's if it's from Life Art Photo Reference, and you're taking those ideas, but you are distorting. You're distorting your elements of art. Maybe you want to distort line. Maybe you want to distort color. Maybe you want to distort the movement or the flow. So you're just distorting things to where somebody or your viewer will look at it and it will feel odd to them, but they'll know what it is. They'll know that it's just an abstraction of a landscape. So it doesn't derive from, well, it derives from realism, but it's a distorted version of realism. So that hopefully that gives it's kind of a long drawn out definition, but hopefully that helps when it comes to what the goal for this assignment is. Another thing, I talk about some very basic very basic composition structure, and it's not really a structure, it's just something that's basic, that if you're doing a landscape, you always want to make sure you're focusing on a foreground, middle ground, and also a background. If you're going to keep it that basic, can you use other composition structures? Yeah, it's a ton of them that are out there, but really I focused on very basic idea of having a foreground, middle ground, background with my students, because as you can see, they are really juggling a lot when it comes to the logic side of it. So you guys, these are my 3 compositions. I did use a photo reference and I did distort it. So I decided to do T-Trad. So I just kind of went through these compositions, changed them up a bit, and then use a T-Trad color scheme to kind of get an idea of what the color scheme would look like in different forms if I can. So my students have already gone through this process. We started the process last week, so they're well aware of what they need to do for this week. But if you are a student that is following along online, just keep in mind that these are the things that we are focusing on for this week when it comes to project 2, which is our landscape. Also, what we're going to do, I need to talk about materials, because in this actual assignment we are still using colored media, but what we are doing is we're using pastels. So I do have a few things. So when it comes to, and I'm just going to place this here for right now. When it comes to my thumbnails, I did use color pencils because I honestly did not want to use, or let's be real, I did not have pastel paper that I was willing to kind of use for thumbnails. I do have professional pastel paper, and I just really did not want to use that for thumbnails. So I decided to just use my actual sketchbook, and I use color pencils, and I put out my T-Trad color scheme with my color pencil. So I used that when it came to my thumbnails. And also I have color pencils that I did my quick drawing with. But what we're doing for project 2 is we're using pastels. So I pulled out my emerald green, which is a kind of like a, technically emerald green in my opinion. It's a blue green, but it's reading more yellow green to me right now. So either or, it will work when it comes to my actual color scheme. So once again, my color scheme is a T-Trad. So I have my yellow green, I have my blue green, I also have my red. It's supposed to be kind of like a red violet, and then I also have well, this is red violet, and this is a, sorry girl, get your colors together. This is red violet, and then this is a red orange. That's what that's supposed to be. I'm giving y'all wrong colors, and y'all know you guys are looking like, what in the world, girl? That is not the color. But this is my Tetrad color scheme, so I need to make sure I'm using it properly. But I want to talk about that. So what I'm using for my pastels, I'm using NuPastels. When it comes to my pastel pencil, I'm using the General's pastel pencil. That way you are aware of the materials that I am using. I'm also going to use Pastel Matte for my paper. So my students are able to use Canson Meetons. I typically teach with Canson Meetons. I don't have Canson Meetons in my studio as of right now, so I definitely need to go shopping for myself. I think I do have Strathmore paper, but it's just I had to find it, and when I finally did find it, it was a lot I had to get through or go through just to get to it. So it was just easier to get to my my pastel matte paper versus the Strathmore pastel paper. So that is what I'm going to use as far as materials. So if you're, once again, following along at home, you kind of have an idea that you're going to need pastel paper. Now the brand is really up to you what you want to use. You're also going to need NuPastels at very least, and you're also going to need a pastel pencil, whether it's General Pastel Pencils or any other brand that you are using. So I am 10 minutes in. I'm going to, I think that's it that I needed to go over as far as the intro for this and what I am doing. That way students are aware of our assignment and how we came about this, or at least how I came about this assignment for students to practice and do. And keep in mind, when you're doing these type of assignments, we're learning, so we're experimenting, and you want to do your best to experiment. Don't beat yourself up if your artwork doesn't look amazing. I'm learning that not only as a artist, but also as a teacher, that students are learning and they're just doing their very best, and that's all you can definitely give is your best. My dad, I know this sounds crazy, but my dad, he was a teacher. He used to always say that all you can give me is your best. That's all I can ask for. In all honesty, that is all I can ask for my students. So enough of me going on a blabble and just you know, just talking to be talking. I am going to end this clip and I'm going to start with the demo. So you guys, hopefully this helps in giving an understanding of what we are doing with our project. Other than that, I will see you in the next clip. Bye. Hey everyone, so I just wanted to quickly just pop in and just talk a little bit about my process while it's going. So I've already gotten my line drawn down, and my line drawn is just a gesture. Once again, I did use a photo reference, and I decided to just use a gesture because I knew it wasn't going to give me 100% accurate to what I was seeing, and that was the whole point. I really wanted the actual drawing or pastel drawing or pastel painting to be more abstract than anything. So I knew if I would have relied too much on my reference drawing, that it's not going to lend me to a more abstract version of my reference. So that's what I decided to do. So I got that done ahead of time. Right now I have started with using my pastels. So once again, I'm using NuPastels. And once again, I have already pulled out my Tetrad color scheme that I was going to go with. So what I'm doing is just using the side of my pastels. So I like to do the side stroke. The side stroke reminds me, or it feels more like a flat paintbrush. So it allows me to get very, very broad strokes, and that's what I like about it. I don't really get a whole lot of detail with it, and that was the whole point for me. It allows me to get a very broad tone of color kind of down, if that makes sense. Not really, just a broad color down. So I'm quicker and easier to cover my pastel paper using this side stroke. I'm also blending just a little bit with the side stroke, not a whole lot. I did not blend with my fingers or anything like that. So I'm just filling in color and shape, and then I'm adding some very broad lines of color here and there. But I just wanted to just break in and just talk about that. Also, in my pastels, I do break them in half or break them in thirds, so I like working with my pastels in that way. But I just wanted to break in, talk a little bit about my process. Other than that, enjoy this process, and I will see you guys in the next demo. Bye.